Hi again, we are back. This is Stina with Beef Advocacy Canada, and we are continuing our Facebook Live Canadian Ag Day broadcast. Gotta press some buttons here. So we're now into the barn at our producers with, we're at Tanis Ranches, which are west of Water Valley here, and we're inside the calving barn right now. Around a little bit, and then we're gonna head with Cody. Oh, speak of the devil. And we're gonna go take a look at his call for today. So this is what the calving barn looks like. We've got some pens here to keep mothers and calves separated when they need a little extra attention. And here we've got a new recruit. We'll see how much this heifer feels like being viewed, or I guess she's not a heifer anymore. For those of you that don't know, a heifer is a female cow that has not had a calf. Very curious about what's going on. All right, so what do you say, Cody? Should we head over and why don't you tell us a little bit about the case?
I'm just gonna do a live stream. I'm just gonna connect your live stream to my live stream.
Okay. Well, we're still taking questions too if anybody wants to pipe in. We've got a little bit of background noise here, but this cow-calf pair looks like they're doing really well here today. It's really important to have lots of fresh straw, keep calves warm while they're little. This is the first step in the cow-calf cycle, in the cattle cycle, is when calves are born in the springtime. Thanks again to Kaylee, our helper from Ag for Life. Make sure you like their page as well, Agriculture for Life. We've got a little bit of a lull. Kaylee, why don't you tell us about what Ag for Life does?
Well, great for you to ask us and have us out today. Agriculture for Life is an Alberta-based nonprofit that supports rural and farm safety and ag education programs and events. So we were very excited to be able to join Beef Advocacy out here today and help spread the message and share these videos with schools and students across the province. And it sounds like, are we supposed to be heading?
I think so. We just got the message, so he shut the door on us, but Dr. Krillman's beckoning us. We're going to head in to take a look at his next call. So this is a sick calf, and he's going to tell us a little bit about it while he's doing it. Here, there you go.
Okay, so at Tanis Ranches, we are lucky enough to have our own isolation ward. So the majority of scours cases are contagious, meaning they can spread from one calf to another. So what we're doing in the severe cases is isolating that baby completely and trying to keep contamination levels to a very low level across the herd. So we're very fortunate to have this. A lot of producers would have to have a makeshift box or a room within their calving facilities, but here we can keep everything isolated.
So we're not going to go inside, but we're going to film from inside to maintain the biosecurity area.
So this is the little baby here. So what's going to happen? Well, that's the clean side there, so you can stay. You can come up today. So this is the little baby. He's been sick for a couple of days. So I'm gonna do a physical exam, see if we can figure out what exactly is going on with him. Here you can see the diarrhea already on physical exam. He does have what we call bruxism, or grinding of his teeth. You can see that he's depressed. He's not super dehydrated. So we'll see what else is going on with him. So first, just like a regular doctor's office, we're going to do a physical examination, check out his heart rate, his temperature, and take a look at the rest of him. Nice normal heart rate. Lung sounds are normal. He does have increased gut sounds, so his belly is rumbling quite a bit. take his temperature.
Thanks for everybody for tuning in. We've got Agriculture for Life. Taylor, nice to see you again. So can you explain how you take a temperature on a calf? Obviously, it's a little different than the doctor does on humans.
That's how my doctor always takes my temperature. So it's a rectal temperature. We want to get core body temperature. It's really hard to get a calf to stick out his tongue and do an oral temperature. And it doesn't work too good in their armpits, so we do have to do rectal temperature. Normal in a calf is around 38 degrees Celsius. This guy is cold. Right now we're at 36.1, so we're going to have to warm him up a little bit. Okay, he's good there. So now we're just going to finish our physical exam, assessing him for hydration, assessing his joints. Baby calves can get joint infections, assessing his navel as well, and see if we can figure out why he's grinding his teeth, what pain response is going on.
So those of you that can hear that sound, that's what that is the calf grinding its teeth.
We want to always feel their joints really well. Calves can get septic arthritis or joint ill, as producers would call it, so that's a bacterial infection of the joints.
What makes calves so susceptible to that?
So typically that's due to what we call failure of passive transfer, or them not getting enough colostrum. The colostrum is mom's first milk, and that contains all the antibodies or the good proteins in the milk that helps them fight various diseases. So if they don't get enough, calves are born with a fully functioning immune system, so that it can make them very susceptible to getting some different diseases. So his joints feel normal. I think most of the pain is coming from his abdomen. Now in calves that are 3 weeks of age or less, that don't have diarrhea, that have swelling of their abdomen and are very painful like that, what we typically think is something to do with how they were made. So a congenital defect, whether that be their small intestines aren't properly made, or their large intestines aren't properly made, or if they have a twist. That wouldn't be the case with this little guy. He is passing feces, obviously, without a problem. So this is more likely to do with inflammation of the gut and maybe even an ulcer. So I think that's going to be our course of action. I'm going to take some blood work and we're going to work him up a little bit further. Look at his electrolyte levels, see how dehydrated he actually is. And we're also going to be putting him on some anti-ulcer medications as well and controlling his pain level. So I'll give him some pretty good painkillers in a couple seconds here. He's not going to need to be put on fluids. He does not have a skin tent. What we do to assess the hydration level of a calf is actually pinch their skin, and if it pops back to normal, just like you would on your own skin, then that means the hydration status is normal. He also doesn't have any sink in his eyes, so his eyes are perfectly normal, which would also indicate dehydration. So he was hooked up onto fluids earlier, but right now we're just going to try to work him up further with the blood work and get his pain controlled as well. So I'll just take some blood samples and get him some drugs, and then that's going to be up to the producer to just monitor for the rest of the afternoon.
Sounds great. Well, we'll let you get your materials here. We've got a couple more people joining us. We have E-Cow Drill Oil and Rope Calves. Their pages share our broadcast. Cole Bailey has joined, and we have 20 people currently watching, so thanks everyone. We're getting to see a really interesting side of Canadian beef production here, and looking after animals when they're sick is a huge part of that, and that's what Dr. Krillman does. So Hi everyone that's just signed on. Hi Charles E. Hi Dustin. We're going to take some blood samples here for those of you that are just listening from SitCat.
Gonna make sure I get the vlog shot.
Yeah, exactly. Not all for nothing. Cody is also a storyteller in his own right, so you may see more of this footage later on his page.
Oh, unless it just crashes and ruins it.
So if you're good to answer a question, we have a question from Amanda. She said, "What are you using for pain reliever?"
So we're going to use a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory, meloxicam. And in this case, I'm also going to use another drug that's similar to morphine as a potent painkiller called torbigesic.
Okay. And we have another question here, or comment from Ben. Hi, Ben. He said, "I'm a dairy farmer, but I love to follow your adventure. One day I want to be famous like Cody."
Oh, shucks, Ben. Know how to make a guy blush.
I can see it. He's very pink. We've got lots of people sharing our broadcast and tuning in, so we're excited to have everybody here. And right now, we're taking blood work. How many vials of blood do you need to take?
I'm going to take 2 vials. So one is to look for white blood cells and red blood cells, and one's to look at his electrolyte level. Little baby calves are super hard to get. It's even harder to get blood when you're on live stream. Just hold off his little bleeding neck for a second.
Just stopping the flow of blood there.
Okay.
Looks like he's good to go.
So now I'm just going to give him his pain medicine. Of course, I have to unglove and wash my boots and get all cleaned up just to walk back to the truck.
So why is this so important to do this?
Because the majority of the scours, pathogens are very contagious, whether that be a viral cause or a bacterial cause. So we just want to keep our hygiene as high as possible with these cases, not go to other animals, strict hygiene in terms of washing our hands, washing our boots, changing out coveralls before we go to other animals.
I'm going to follow you outside because it's a beautiful day here. This is some of the rest of the ranching operation that we're visiting. You can see they've got a pretty nice view out here. We've been lucky enough to have great weather and really nice ranches to look at. We're losing our connection a little bit here, so we're not going to stray too far. We're just going to wait for Cody to come back. Hi, Trevor. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to answer your question. Cody's going to be the one that's obviously going to know the answer to that. How long will it take to get results back from the blood work? So we'll just wait till Cody comes back here. So this is what most rural veterinarians, the setup that they've got is. There's a vet box in the back of the truck. You want to tell us a little bit about your setup, Cody?
Yeah, so overall it's designed for us to have a complete hospital while we're out on the road. The truck is...
I had 5 service.
There we go. So we're back. April says, "Hi, Finn." Oh, he ran back out. So when we see him, we'll say hi to him for you. Again, like we said, rural internet is always a struggle. So we were lucky enough to have Wi-Fi in this barn, which is pretty atypical. We're usually just dealing with what's around. So Trevor wanted to ask you, Cody, how long will it take to get the results back from the blood work?
So if we can get the results sent out by 4 p.m., I can often have results by 8 or 9 p.m. So it just depends at the clinic what time we get back. So I can often have same day results. We don't have a blood analyzer within the clinic. We send it into Calgary, but they're super fast at getting those prelims back. If not, it's always the next day. Very, very quick. We already have feces from this herd on a couple other scours cases. That feces is going for culture to identify if this is an E. coli scours case. And those are going to be back probably by tomorrow. So culture results will take typically 5 to 7 days.
Did you know that Finn is sophisticated and drinks from a glass, not a bowl? I didn't know that, April, but he's a pretty classy guy. He didn't try anything too frisky in the truck, so. So for those of you that are just tuning in, Cody, do you want to tell us what you're giving the calf right now?
Yeah, so right now I'm giving him a set of painkillers. One's an anti-inflammatory called meloxicam, and the other is a potent painkiller called torbugesic. So this calf's pretty painful in the guts. He's got this distended abdomen. There doesn't seem to be anything wrong with him other than the scours, so he does have pretty severe diarrhea. So we're just going to control the pain, try to work up with blood work exactly what he would need in terms of treatment, and then just start him on oral ulcer medication just in case he does have GI ulcer that has started as well. So that's it for little baby. We just have to get the blood work back as fast as we can, and hopefully he'll start turning around for us. But the producer's going to keep on with him for the rest of the afternoon, oral electrolytes and milk feedings, and also maintaining that body temperature. So I'm going to ask them to get a heat lamp set up as well and increase that body temperature a little bit just so he doesn't get hypothermic. But yeah, other than that, that's all we can do, and we'll let Tanis Ranches get back to picturing bulls for their sale day and checking little calves to make sure everything's okay. So that's it.
Since we were staying outside the biosecure area, we can walk around a little bit. So maybe we'll do that while we're waiting for Cody to clean up. The infamous Phineas here is. There we go. We're back. Let's go back into the calving barn here, and for those of you just tuning in, you can take a look at some brand new baby calves. These guys are happy and healthy. They're being monitored. A few of them were sick before, like the one you just saw, and you know, through care of Dr. Creelman, they're looking happy again and healthy. This pair, you know, they're sure interested in us. I'm sure selfie sticks aren't something that calves see every day. We also hear some commotion in the background. They're moving panels around and getting bulls ready for sale day, which is another important part of purebred ranching here in Alberta. So we're still taking questions. If there's anybody online that has any or would like to ask us something, I'm always happy just watching cow-calf pairs, so we'll maybe leave the camera on them just for a little bit and take any questions you guys might have. I'd also like to invite you to like our page, Beef Advocacy Canada, and to tag with hashtag CDNAgday. Heifer is very excited about our Egg Day broadcast. Kaylee, do you have a question? I'm putting you on the spot.
You are putting me on the spot. Well, Christina, can you explain why they're taking pictures of the bulls? Why is that such an important part of the purebred business?
That's a great question. So I'm not a purebred breeder myself, but I know lots. And you hear that sound in the background, that's a blower. And basically what that is a blow dryer. We can't see them because they're in the next room in the barn. But it's a giant blow dryer, and it gets all the dirt and hair so the cattle look really fluffy and really nice. And that's important because we want them to look nice in their sale catalogs, and for prospective buyers and prospective breeders to see the cattle looking their best. Our friend here really, the camera loves you. So that's why they're cataloging, they're taking pictures of each individual bull and his breeding and kind of the characteristics that he brings, so that people can look at those pictures and at those catalogs and decide what bull might be best for their breeding herd.
Okay, I've got another question for you. Stump Stina is maybe what we'll call this part of the segment.
Yeah.
What are some of the characteristics that the buyers are looking for when they're looking at these purebred bulls?
So there's a couple of different things they might be looking for depending on what animals they're breeding to. So for example, there'll be specific types of bulls that you'll want to use to breed to first-time calvers. For heifers, you'll have a heifer bull that's different from the rest of your herd, and that just, you know, you're looking for something that's not going to produce a big calf so that those heifers don't have a tough time on their first time and on their first calf. Other characteristics you might be looking for are size. You know, you want them to be well muscled. Obviously, we want our cattle well muscled, and that's something that the sire can bring to a genetic mix. Personality too, and domicility. You know, these cattle are really great to work with. They're very calm, they're very happy, and we like to breed cattle like that. We don't like it when they're unhappy and when they make themselves difficult to handle. So it's definitely important. You know, I don't know. Do you have anything else you want to add?
I would definitely say that another big component that I know producers and friends and family that are farmers and ranchers, they're always looking at the legs and making sure the cattle that they're breeding are going to have legs that can hold them up and put them to work. Would you be able to tell us, so we have catalogs and we're looking at breeding as like the bloodlines, but I'm trying to, is there any other tools that they use to assess potential crosses?
Yeah, so we're going to do genetic testing through a couple of different methods. Cody mentioned earlier, so he's filming for his vlog right now. The filmers are we're filming the people filming. I can't zoom. His is much more technologically advanced than mine.
He's got the fancy toy.
He's got the fancy toy. But no, so Cody mentioned semen testing earlier. So they'll take a semen sample from the bull, and that'll tell you a little bit about his how his swimmers are doing and if they're strong enough to make it upstream and implant an egg. And then there's also different types of genetic testing you can do through hair follicles and taking samples that way. So you're looking for those types of things, and you want to be able to. It's hard taking blood when you're on live stream. It's also hard answering questions about purebred genetics, which is not my area of expertise. So if we have any purebred breeders that are watching the stream right now, feel free to comment and have a better take on what we're saying than I do.
Well, that's a really great example, though, that non-egg people wouldn't probably have guessed about the egg industry, and then our ranchers are using genetic testing to make their decisions.
Yeah, so we use people like Cody for all kinds of scientific things. Our Dr. Calvet. We haven't had any questions for a while. You're obviously not as popular as you thought you were. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what the rest of your day looks like now that we've treated this cat?
Well, I guess we should just peek in one last second, just so you guys can see how much more comfortable he is. He stopped grinding his teeth. He's having a nice sleep now, so definitely feeling a lot more comfortable. For the rest of the day, it's going to be a lot of driving. We're still an hour back from the office. Sample processing, paperwork, medical records, all of those fun things that any job has or entails is something that we have to do as well. And I'm on call tonight, so you never know what's going to happen. It could be a calving or my favorite, a uterine prolapse. Any one of those could come up tonight. And for the rest of the week, I'm on call all week. I'm on call on the family day, so I don't get a break for a little while yet. But yeah, I definitely appreciate you guys following me along and helping me tell my story too, and my producers as well.
Great. Well, let's walk out. We'll take one last peek at this cat, and we're happy to hear he's doing better already. That's pretty quick results. Is that pretty typical, Cody?
For pain response, absolutely. He's having a nice little sleep now.
It's a lot more comfortable.
So fingers crossed on blood work that we'll be able to help him out a little more, but yeah, some cases we just need to do further diagnostics to get an answer. Not all of them are just obvious with a physical exam, so we shall see.
Okay. Don't get far.
I didn't go on the dirty side.
I'm a biosecurity.
All right, well, we'll leave it there. I think Cody is going to be nice enough to let us use his drone, and we're going to get some aerial footage of a herd here. So that's going to be really cool. If you guys want to stick around for a little bit longer and wait for another segment, we're going to sign off now. Thanks to everybody that commented and shared and posted, and thanks for supporting Beef Advocacy Canada and Canada's Ag Day. We'll talk to you later.